on, Rock? How you been, brother?
Dude, just killing it over here in Chicago, dude. Having a great time over here. You got to come over here and visit, dude. Seriously,
I
I got
want
you
to.
a wall, bro. You can stay at my house, mi casa, su casa, bro. Be an honor to have you over here, bro.
That would be great. I'd love to make it out as soon as it gets warm.
Dude,
You guys
it's
are way too cold there.
dude.
Speaking of,
Surprisingly,
I'm done.
dude, I love the fucking the little robe, dude. That's dope, man.
I know it's
Holy
cold out here. It's cold. Oh yeah. We got all that shaved off.
dude, I shaved it, but like it's barely growing back because I had to restart it. I had a weird mohawk going on because I was shaving it myself during COVID. And so
Man,
it started becoming shorter and shorter and shorter. I was just fucking it up. So I'm like, you know what? I gotta restart this shit. So I'm barely restarting my hair growing back up. But good to see you, bro. Damn it, dude.
yep.
We are recording already, dude. If you're cool with
It's
that,
going. All right, give me 1 second. Let me get this clipped in
I gotta
to
get
this
one of these, dude. I'm trying to get the
whole
Modelo
setup.
sponsorship eventually. Salud,
The
senor.
Modelo. I'll see you on a mojito. Mojito.
A huevo, salud, salud.
Salud.
Dude, so what the heck's going on? Where the hell are you right now, man?
Hold on 1 second. 1 second. We're almost in. Close this. I don't even know where I am anymore. We just kind of keep going and going and going, and we find a spot.
That's
Once it's
awesome.
nice, we
I
sit
am
down.
I envy you right now, bro. I envy you. Looks like you have some great weather out there, dude. Where you at? Where you located right now, man?
Let me show you, and then let me see if you can guess. Let me see.
Oh shit, dude,
What does
that
this
looks
look like? What are we seeing here?
Nevada,
Nevada,
Vegas,
Vegas.
Vegas, baby.
Yeah, we end up getting a room
Vegas.
out here, and not gonna gamble, do the whole Vegas thing, but we're gonna check out Meow Wolf at some point. So
Dude,
we'll have
you
that
have
going
to.
on.
You have to, dude. I've just been the only reason I want to go over there is for Meow Wolf, dude. It looks
Yeah,
awesome, dude.
it's literally I just booked. I booked our tickets right before we got on this call, so I got four. So I got some friends out here too, so we're all gonna roll in and
Are they all
hopefully
artists too?
our minds blown.
You
What's
traveling
that?
with some artists and
Oh, thousands, man. Everywhere you go. But no, it's weird right now because it's the only time I've been on the road and not like, usually make a friend every day.
for sure.
You meet somebody, you go to the gas station, you have a conversation. But now it's like anywhere you go, people doing that shit. It's like
Uh-huh.
the only people I meet are usually elderly, actually. Like the old
Really?
crowd. Like, yeah, there's stuff, that got the whole phase of going out and you want to do good unto others that do good unto you. So it's just like, they have advice for where to go. But except here, because I'm on the 32nd floor, so whoever I'm in the elevator with at the time, by default, they have to be my friends I'm going to talk to. So, so I got
Yeah,
you for
bro.
32 flights. So I'm going to make the most.
Dude, so
But it's
what inspired this new trip? What got you going again, man? Because like I met you at the graffiti wall. I think it was 2017. You were traveling
yeah,
from New York and
talk about the
um
most fun place
dude,
ever.
dude, seriously, what we had some great times there, bro. Like you showed up, dude. What was your story? Like let's tell the audience, how did that even happen, dude? Was this your first trip when you went down to Austin when the with the art and traveling and everything?
I got this friend back home, my best friend Zach, and he suggested at some point years ago. He was like, "Hey, there's this place in Texas, Austin." He's like, "It's yours. You should go. Like, it seems like it's someplace that you would like." And then I just happened to be on a trip, and I was like, "All right, let's make Austin a stop." So I stopped there, and on the first day is when I came across the Graph Park, or somebody told me about Hope. And then after that, I was only in town for 3 days, and then I loved it. I obviously I fell in love. Everybody that you meet there was just like hospitality through and through. There was real people. There was, it was everything. It was all in one spot. You had people from all over the world that came to that one spot, and you could legally paint as large as you want in practice. That doesn't exist pretty much anywhere else. And after those 3 days, I went to the Grand Canyon, and I spent like 6 days inside the canyon, and all like everything in me was magnetized to go back. So I ended up cashing out the rest of the trip. I didn't go to California. I didn't do any of that. I didn't go north. I just went back. And then I ended up spending like 2 months, I think 2 months there, just on that, living out of the car, just going to the wall every day, meeting real dudes like you, everybody. You can name, like there's so many people there that I'm still in contact with and are like deep friends, like Jomo is my friend for life. And it's like so many people there that I met. I want to stay in touch. You're an inspiration. Come party, come hang, come paint, come. Literally, there's no time to sleep there. That was a thing. It felt like one long blur. because there was absolutely no time to sleep at all hours of the day. It's like, we can go here, we can do this, we can do this, we can do this. And it's like, the bar's closed, you know, but that didn't mean shit because everybody else had something else going on. And it was like, oh, you just got to send a text. The next thing you would know, you got the coordinates to the next place.
For sure.
So it was like, it was 2 months, but I feel like I only slept 4 times. I feel like a real sleep. Like actually, like during the day too, I had to pull off in the car on the side of the road, turn off the phone, and then just take a quick nap, a little siesta to bring in the night.
Dude, and you were there right when Cherry Cola was just opening up, so
Yeah.
you got to like experience like the beginnings, the inception of that whole place.
Yeah.
Tell us about like the first times you were doing live art. There was so many talented
That,
artists collaborating.
that place was, I mean, Mike put together an energy that was unmatched at that point. Like I'm yet to experience that anywhere else. And he did it at the perfect time. So like, there's no way that could have worked now. And it would have been so different. Because now it's like, if you go back, Hope Gallery isn't there. It's being rebuilt into something new, but it's not there. What else? I had the residency with Spray TX. They're doing what they're doing. And Cherry Cola, when it's separate ways. So it's like the 3 things that held me there at that time have dispersed. So it's a shame, but it's also part of life. Like there has to be death to have a rebirth and so on and so forth. But yeah, Mike put together an amazing vibe there. Like every weekend, being able to go there and live beat alongside all these other talented artists. It was literally just amping everybody's skill set up. Like you'd be so hard pressed to like come out there and do shit work next to somebody who's dope, but nobody's gonna straight up be like, yo, you suck. You're gonna be like, yo, let's try this out, try this cap, try mixing this paint with this, use this brush. It's like it wasn't just like everybody was cool and everybody was talented. Everybody wanted to help. There was very little fakeness, which is rare, which is very rare, especially in the art world, because everybody wants what you have if you have something better. And, you know, like, yo, that dude's art sold for $1,000 for that piece for five, yo, he sucks. You should be buying my shit. But it's like, you're not doing what he's doing or she's doing. And Austin just had that great scene where at Hope Gallery, everybody could just hang out at that park. You could set up your little Merc booth, do what you want. I think about Jesse all the time, man.
For sure, dude. What a unique individual, dude. The guy was ripping off pieces of the wall and creating like little sculptures out of it, dude. I had an awesome cross he made. It was a red cross, but if you looked at it on the side, like, I kind of compare it to tree rings. You know how you can see like the tree rings?
You see the life of the murals.
Yeah, you could see all the graffiti murals in it. It was such a dope cross, dude. I don't know what the heck happened to that cross, but shout out to Jesse, dude, if you're out there.
I hope he sees this. I hope he's still around. I hope he's still kicking. I went to Austin like in 2019, and I just wait. What year did the park close? 2019.
I want to say the January of 2019. I want to say that, dude.
Yeah.
Because right after that, then I was like, peace out, Austin. Like that was my second home, dude.
That was the place to be. That was the only place to be. And like I went down there for something, and I just drove by the park, and then it's fenced in, chained up, and then sitting on the sidewalk is Jesse. I'm like, yeah, so happy to see you, man. Like, what's up? He made a Texas piece. It's the Texas state out of the wall, and I have that in my bedroom in New York framed. It's the only framed piece of artwork in that room. So the room is just plants and mantises. It's just nothing, and a big map. But then there's just Jesse's piece I put in a frame. So it's like every day I wake up when I'm there and I look at that, I'm like, man, I hope Jesse's doing good, and fuck, do I miss Austin.
Dude,
like,
for sure.
That time was a very beautiful time, very enlightening too. Especially like, because everybody wanted to help. Like that's so rare to be in an occupation where everybody you meet wants to progress and push you further up and like elevate you instead of like what's the famous Julius Irving, I think, coined the quote, but he was like, he was Tim Duncan's mentor, but he would never play him. And Tim Duncan was like, yo, why? And he was like, I'm not going to play with anyone who's not going to elevate me. So until you're as good as me, then we could ball. But it's like everybody there wanted to elevate everybody else up to a point of with no like compensation. Not like, hey, I made this link, I connected you to this person, they bought a print, don't you owe me 10%? There was none of that. It was, unless it was formal. But everybody there just had something positive to say and always had a smile. There's a lot of smiles. Austin is is wealthy in smiles, man.
Oh,
That
for
place
sure,
is
dude.
not wealthy.
Dude, I didn't even know how to spray paint when I showed up there. And you know Richter, dude. Richter
Yeah,
is
Andy.
shout out to that guy, dude. That guy's like my respects to that guy. I
Yeah.
remember him telling me, "Yo, you should paint." And I was just like, "Okay, whatever the heck." And I announced it on Facebook. I'm gonna go paint. Homeboy shows up right before he goes to work just to give me some tips, dude, because I didn't know what the heck I was doing, dude. Like, I was using
Angel.
Rustos and not even using caps or anything like that. The
The
guy came
spray
to give
paint
me some
angel.
pointers, dude. He didn't have to do that. I was like, oh, he's probably in the area. No, the dude's like, oh, I heard you were gonna paint, so I came here just to check up on you and everything. And I'm like, do you work around here? No, no, no. I work kind of far, but I wanted to check up on you. Who the hell does that, dude? Who
Who
the
does
hell does that?
people in Austin?
Just Richter, dude. Well, yeah, people in
Banners,
Austin. People
nice
in Austin.
folk.
For
But that
sure,
was cool
dude.
too to like go there, not even with necessarily an intent to paint or to create, just to watch. Like I spend a lot of time watching. Like I watched Jay Muzak so much. Like,
Dude,
most of the time he was there, I would just sit back and watch him paint. And that's all I wanted to do. The first cherry cola mural, Mike brought in, I think it was 8 of us, 5 of us on one wall, 4 on one, I guess 9 of us. And I didn't jump in on the first night because I didn't know anybody yet. I was the random. I felt I was like the non-local.
the outsider,
And
yeah.
I don't really plan when I create. I'm like like we just get the material we have. If I have a rock, a candle, and a lighter, like I'm gonna make something. Like something will be made out of that. And so just wanted to sit back and watch how everybody worked. And I was just focused on Jay the whole time. I felt like just watching him create. He's like a sensei, man. I really love the work he's doing with the mosaics now. That's like
For
he's one
sure,
too.
dude.
Progressively elevates, and also the sweetest heart. Like, man, I miss that place.
Dude, you're preaching to the freaking choir, bro. Seriously, like so many good people meeting there, dude, and people you would feel like you would never even meet if it wasn't for the wall, dude. Like it would bring people
Yeah,
together, dude, like from all over the country. No, not even all over the country, all over the
over the
planet, dude.
world.
Hmm.
Yeah,
And I, you know
all
what? It's
walks of
what's
life.
you know what's funny? I didn't even know it existed until I moved to Austin. Like people kept on telling me, "You gotta go to the graffiti wall," and I'm like, "What the heck are you even talking about?" And then you go there, dude. It literally looks like you're in the apocalypse or something like that,
Yeah,
because it looks like a
just a dust
destroy.
bowl.
Hmm.
It's a dust bowl.
Dude, but it inspired so much
Like,
creativity, dude.
and even the fact that there was different size walls of different texture in different areas. It's not like, okay, cool, flat wall. Anybody can paint a flat wall. That's like simple. But if you have to walk 30 feet up this muddy path carrying 60 pounds of paint on your back, a roller, a bucket in one hand, counterbalance everything on your way up and not slip, and it's raining, and then you're painting a wall that's on a slant and there's pieces of it peeled out, and it's just like it was school.
Yeah.
It felt like school. It felt like I was going to class every time I was there. Like there's always something to learn, there's always somebody to talk to, there's something to experience, and you can make money there. So
Dude,
what's
and it
better?
was it was Monday through Sunday too. Like it wasn't like, oh, peak
Oh,
days were like this day. No matter what day you showed up.
hours.
Yeah.
Just show up, do what you want, but be respectful. But do what you
Dude, I was talking to Brian in the last interview, and we would always defend the pieces that weren't even ours, dude. Like we would see, like, let's say you would get down, but
want.
you had to
Yeah,
go eat or something. We'd be there like pit bulls, dude, just protecting the walls, dude. And
that was like that's a good way to even explain that to anybody who hasn't been there. Like if you're there was such an influx of visitors that anybody would find a can, like some random father from Indiana that's bringing his kids there went to Walmart. He got the dollar can of paints, but they can't differentiate an unfinished piece from a finished piece because as the artist mind, we could see that because we identify it, but they can't. And you literally turn around, and next thing you come back, and the fully rendered face of your piece, or like the finished part, just says Bob, and you're like, fuck. But at the same time, it's like, all right, now I have to revise that. I have to make it better, or I have to stand there with a knife and just poke people as they come. Like, get back, bro. Like, this is. I'm surprised no one ever brought like a velvet rope. Yeah, just block that part off. It's like it's a private section, please. Don't touch. But yeah, that was awesome because everybody else too was on that same term where if you left, be like, yo, watch my wall, please.
yeah,
I
for
don't know.
sure.
Everybody was just super nice.
It was like a
Super
mutual respect that everyone had there, dude. Especially because you knew, dude, it was like 100 degrees out there. You're in
yeah.
the sun, dude, and there's no shade unless you're like by where Jesse would sell his stuff under
Yep.
those little trees. But even then, dude, like there was a point where the sun was just gonna hit you, dude.
You
But
just
like
gotta
you said,
feel that blistering 102 heat on your back while you're spray painting in the Dust Bowl. Man, that was rough and beautiful. And like, I'm replaying everything in my mind right now. I might drift off. Check that.
nostalgia, dude, nostalgia, dude. Okay, so like recently you posted something where you were just burning sketches. I'm like, what the heck are you doing?
Peace.
But it kind of reminded me of the wall, as in you spray something awesome, and then if something
Yeah.
were to get destroyed the next morning, you were
You
just
can't expect it to be there.
like a meditation, like a Buddhist meditation. I compared it to like those sun mandalas that
Yeah.
they make. The minute they finish them, they destroy them, dude.
Yeah.
How do you connect to that? Like the whole comparing like graffiti to you burning your sketches, dude.
That changed the aspect of how I create art as a whole because the idea that if you work on canvas and you work on paper, if like a deluge comes through or a solar flare lights up, the next thing you know, the whole half the earth is scorched. Like all your work is going to disintegrate in that amount of time. So it's a level of how attached you are to the work that you make. Like I forget what artist said this, but I heard it in an interview, and they said like you have to be a hard uh, motherfucker to create something that you love and then release it and just let it go. And like you were saying, there's a deep meditation in that and putting the time into creating something that you love, but then destroying it because you can't be upset if it gets destroyed in another way. So I had an artist friend of mine, he stored all his works in a basement. The basement got flooded. All the works were, he says, destroyed. I call them enhanced because now they all had this cool little film along the bottom and like some, like some greens and like some sea foams came into play. I thought it was cool, but as somebody who put, a refined oil piece, like he spent like a month per piece, if not 2 months. And as that time went on, it was kind of like seeing that happen and not wanting that to happen to anything that I make. Like if I put a piece, I've had a piece in a show one time and they ripped the canvas accidentally because somebody's frame fell and it hit the back of the canvas. It split it. I kind of liked it. I didn't mind, but the gallery director was going nuts because he was like, "Oh, it's a broken piece. Like we can't sell it now because it has a big cut in it and all this." And I was like, "That kind of enhances the piece as a whole for me. Like I I like that, man. Like I like when something happens on the external through the piece itself."
What up?
I don't even know who that was, but it's like cool to see something happen to the external and then not be worried about it the next day. Because it's like, why create something that's going to put stress on your shoulders if you don't want that stress? That didn't really make sense. And the more and more I got into the art world and started to meet people and internships and mentorships, it just felt like the second you start creating for somebody besides yourself, you're losing your own worth. And whatever, you could sell a piece for $5,000, cool. Great. I hope that makes you happy. Like if you need the money for that pays bills, cool. Dude, like I'm not putting that down in any way, shape, or form. That's great. But if you want to create something that lasts, it can't be made of paint. It can't be made of paper. It can't be made of something that could burn. So if you're creating for yourself in the time that you're here, amazing, awesome. Express yourself. Let all that out. But if you really want to make like temple artwork, like artwork that lasts, which is what I'm gearing into now, is like everything's made of stone, or it's something that I personally want to set on fire. Like I want to create it. You take the photograph, then you could sell prints, you could turn it into merch, you could do a million things. But the idea that unless somebody buys it in my like time frame, if I make a piece, I usually give it a time frame now of a month, 2 months, 6 months if I really like the piece. And if I can find a collector in that amount of time, I will happily burn it because then even the video of it burning gets more press and more PR than the actual piece itself. And you still have the piece. You still got the photograph. You can do the prints. You can do the big mugs. You could design beer labels. Modelo might hit you up for a creative director spot. Like you can do anything with the piece. Just take a picture of it. But once it lives in the digital realm, it's like the physical realm can't be earth, wind, or fire. The digital realm can't be electricity. So as soon as the power goes out, bye-bye. There goes everything. But right now we don't really have like a monument of any sort really telling our place in time. So I'm focusing more work on work that'll lasts for a generation. So if I have a great, 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 great grandchild, that kid could see the word carved into a mountainside, as opposed to being like, well, we have to go to the Smithsonian inside this temperature controlled vault that nobody ever sees except the 4 people who get to actually go inside of it. And that's not appealing. That's not really appealing. It's like, I did the art thing. I did the art gallery, blah, 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 where you sell a piece for X amount of thousands and you feel good for a while. But then, you know, next month, it's like, well, somebody just literally bought a piece of my life. And all I have to show for it is some pixels in my bank account. That is super satisfying for a little while, but then after a while I started to like drift out of that, because then I was making art to be sold. And I didn't like that because I could see it in it. It wasn't inspiring to me. It wasn't like, you know, it wasn't going out. Like, we just went to Joshua Tree last week, and we spent the whole day building a compass out of stones.
Damn.
And it's like, and it was huge. It literally, the radius was probably 8 foot, I think. I got like a 6.5 foot wingspan, so it was like 8 foot. And the tallest rock was probably 3.5 feet, and it's functional. It helps. Like, if somebody happens to be lost on that trail and they need to get southwest, they could look at this rock, this compass, and know exactly where to go. And I think creating artwork that's functional and helpful would provide a lot more happiness to my life and other people's lives, as opposed to just being like, I made all these canvases, but now they're in storage until somebody wants them or until I get a show. And now it's like art galleries are kind of going down. Like, the physical art realm is slowly deteriorating, and like COVID kind of just put a big spike down. And it jumped, because like a big part of these art sales and going to galleries and such was getting that group of friends to come in who want to invest in art, but also want to like show off. Because like Art Basel shows you that infinitely. Like, you go in there and it's just friends battling. Like, you're like, yo, I just bought this piece for $5,000. And the friend is like, oh, well, I'm going to go buy that one from the same artist for $7,000. So mine's bigger than yours, you know?
Yeah.
And the Art Basel was very enlightening, seeing that for the first time too. So I was like, this isn't a healthy world, man. Like, this isn't. Everybody was super fake, and like, be talking to somebody and they're like mad about the artist next to them selling. It's like, but why? And then you see stuff where you see somebody who's a meticulously refined, master trained oil painter with brilliant, beautiful, surrealistic, realistic rendered portraits and flora and fauna, and it's like breathtaking work. But then next to him is the hot girl who sucks, and she's selling it just because she has sex appeal. And the person next to them, if they don't, then they usually get looked over too. So there's a big part of like seeing the physical side of it and seeing that world come forth. And I was like, that's not really healthy. I don't really like that, because everybody's competing against each other instead of like the Austin style where you want to elevate everybody next to you. Everybody was kind of like, this is my booth. And there was like people paying people to stand in front of their work just so it looks like people liked it. I was like, this is so fake, man. Like, this is so, I can't exist in that realm. That's not a realm of happiness for me. So since then, it's slowly been changing to the pace where it's like, all right, I don't want to hold on to art. I don't want to hold it. I don't want to keep it as weight for months, if not years, unless it's dope. And then I put it in shows, you rent it out, you make money on that for as long as you can. But like, burning it is so satisfying.
Really,
it's
dude?
so satisfying. Because you watch it go up, and then after it goes up, it's no longer weight that you hold. You know, your pockets are lighter. Your shoulders feel good. And you get to watch it burn. There's something satisfying about that too. Putting that time into it, and then the meditative process of sitting there and watching it just slowly dissolve, like carbon onto carbon, and it returns to the earth. Oh, and then the next point that leads with all that, with it returning back to the earth, is like, spray paint's not healthy. It's pretty much common sense. Like, talk to anybody. Exactly. And it's like, talk to anybody who's been riding on the subways since the 60s. Like, they piss their bed now, and they're in their 50s, 60s. And it's like, it just doesn't lead to good medical advances within yourself, so to speak. And then also, like, acrylic paints and oil paints and mixing paints, you're inhaling all those fumes and you don't notice them at the time. But fast forward 30 years, you're going to be like, what the fuck? I have this weird thing in the back of my throat now. I can't imagine why. It must be the dust in the air. But you're like, no, you were literally inhaling these toxic aerosol fumes. And like, sure, you can wear a mask. Masks help. Everybody has a mask on now. But like, they don't really help all that much. Plus, people don't account for it. If it's on your hands, it seeps into your skin.
Yeah.
Like, I go out with some dudes every now and then, and like, we'll be bombing a spot, and they'll have a mask on, but their shirt will be off. You're like, what do you do? You realize your skin is, you breathe through all, this is the biggest organ on your body, man.
Yeah, pores and sweat and everything, you're absorbing it.
Yeah. So it got to a point where it's like, at the early phases, it was like, I'll take any job I can get just to practice, just to work big on a larger scale. But then as that progressed, like, I would, if I'm working on a wall actively for a day, at the end of the day, I can noticeably feel myself become slower because I'm inhaling all the fumes. Like, you can feel it in your nose, but like, your nose goes straight to your brain, and that, you know, correlates to how your whole body exists and what happens with you throughout the rest of the day. But I could feel myself becoming slower. Like, I'd be quick-witted and clever early in the day, but then later on at night, after that, I'm kind of like drowned out and kind of dull. What is happening? Oh, there's dip. There's dip.
Damn, I want some.
Thank you, love.
Wow. Dude, right
Carrot.
Nice, dude. I wish
Homemade
I had somebody bringing me strawberries and carrots all the time. Dude.
Kiwi. Mixed.
Damn, salute again, bro.
Cheers, brother.
To the good
Salute.
life, to the good life. Dude, Squid Shop actually mentioned something that you were just saying.
Red.
Called the spray painting hangover. He's like, dude, oh, you're gonna be
Yes.
hangover tomorrow. And I'm like, I'm not drinking. What are you talking about? He's like,
Yeah,
oh,
man.
you'll feel it tomorrow. And yeah, you definitely feel that. Oh, like you feel like you're dragging the next day, you know? And it's harming your body. It's harming your lungs. The graffiti boogers, dude. Oh my god, dude. When you have
Oh
paint
yeah,
in your
when you
nose.
blow one of those out, and it comes out like green and red and blue and purple, and you're like, that's not inside.
You're like, I didn't use
But
purple.
I'm not
what
an
the fuck?
octopus here. I don't have blue blood. Like, that's so odd. And then especially at the park, you're inhaling that dust all day. You're inhaling the fumes. You probably had some drinks. You might have smoked a bit.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, damn, I might have just knocked a week off my life, but I had so much fun.
Dude, okay, so right now that you mentioned Art Basel, I've never been there, dude, to Art Basel, but I've been to Miami twice actually. I did get that feel of that plasticness, you know, like that fakeness. What's your take on, like, right now that you mentioned, yeah, you'll see this hot girl next door, next to you, and selling out, and even though she's not that talented, but she's selling out. What's your take on that? Like, should sexuality be part of the selling of your art, or should it just mostly be the art talking about, I mean, talking for itself?
I think it would be amazing if somebody made a like a Google Glass app where you can only see the artwork, you can't see faces. You know, you literally can only see the artwork, which is kind of what the digital realm is doing now. Like, you know, you can buy digital works and collect that more so than the actual physical pieces themselves, but you don't have to see the person behind them. And like, I really don't care what you look like. If you make brilliant work, I could see that in your work. Like, I could tell mostly who a person is by looking at their artwork. Like, you could see a lot about somebody based off of what they make and how they make it. Because if you see a beautifully refined piece, you're like, okay, this is a person who has work ethic. They have a desire to learn. They're probably interesting. Like, if somebody's a master, there's something else that they do, and there's something that led them to that point. But then if you see somebody who's like Alec Monopoly, who at Art Basel was everywhere, but it's like, do you know his work at all?
No, I do not know that.
It's a Monopoly Man. He makes the Monopoly Man.
Okay.
That's about it. But he does it in a very grandiose scale in terms of sales. Like, I don't know who his team is, but they're doing an amazing job selling really bad artwork. And he was everywhere at Basel. Like, people were coming up to my booth and asking me how to find his work. And that's when I got onto it. I was like, who is this dude? Why does everybody want to see him? I was like, man, this is like, whatever, that's cool. You have a way to express, you create. If that makes you happy, that's amazing. but you're perpetuating a pop culture stereotype that's, I feel like, degrading the culture as opposed to like elevating the culture. Because if you can paint Mickey Mouse with a mask on, does that make you happy? It's like it's something somebody else made and you're just kind of taking it, but then you're selling it. And it's like, but that's not an original idea. And I really like the idea of original art. I like people who make original artwork. I don't care what your like, whatever your skill set is. It doesn't matter if it's original. You could tell. You can always tell when somebody's faking the funk or they stole somebody else's style and they're trying to relive that and like put their own little twist on it. Which on the come up, every artist, especially now because we have access to the world, we have access to everybody who's ever made artwork while we're in this digital realm that we exist in now. And that's how you learn. You know, you study people's artwork, you try to mimic their style and their strokes, but at some point you have to take that inside and like activate it as your own style. Like use pieces of it, but then put it into your work in a way that's more complicated or more you. But if you hold on to somebody else's style, somebody else is always going to be able to see that. Like, it doesn't matter whose style you're stealing. Somebody, especially if you post online, somebody's going to be like, yo, that's Rod Quinn style. Like, what are you doing? Like, and if they're like, oh, no, I just came up with this on my own. But then you put it side by side. I think Skelly had a good story about this. I think it was at Art Basel too. Some artist literally copied his whole style. Like Skelly has a very unique, it's very him. Like you see the work, you meet him, you're like, this
goes with him. That's him.
That's your style, man. That's you.
Shout out
I guess
Skelly.
somebody shout out to Jeff. But I guess somebody literally copied his whole style and then he found out about it and contacted the gallery. And I might be skewing the story, I'm not too sure. But I know something happened where they kicked that dude out and then they brought him in. So it's like there's always somebody that'll be able to find out. And the worst part is if the artist you're stealing from finds out, how do you talk to them? How do you talk to them and be like, I respect you. Either you're like, I respect you, I really like your style. But then if you're selling based off their style, do you kick them a cut or do you take it off yourself as a greedy bitch? Like,
dude, because I follow some tattoo artists also.
What was the question again? I feel like I got off there.
Dude, I don't know. Dude, I already forgot what the heck the question was originally, but I think that was some really good information. But I follow a lot of tattoo artists also on Instagram, and touching on what you're talking about, they'll win tattoo competitions, but it's off of someone else's art. So what do you do in that case? I mean, I don't care how talented you are to replicate it. That's someone else's artwork, dude. You can't. I know Picasso says good artists borrow and some great artists steal. I know I'm paraphrasing it horribly, but I've always seen like, yes, get inspiration from other people, but don't just directly steal from them. You know, like it's like admire, learn, maybe implement some of the techniques, but at the end of the day, you got to do your own thing. You can't just say, oh, look at how great I mimic this guy's style or his work.
At the very least, say inspired by.
Inspired by, yeah.
Like, at the very least. I mean, in the beginning of my career, you could say like, there were some artists who I definitely tried to copy their strokes. I tried to mimic their work just to see if I could do that. And that's you know, you go to art school, there's classes where you literally do just that. I have a friend, Dak. I can never say his last name. I'm not even gonna try. But he was a what do you call it? He would reproduce fine art prints by hand, but like Hieronymus Bosch, like masterful, crazy ass works. And I was like, why? You know, why do you do that? And he's like, well, it's a job I got hired into because then they use it on a digital platform for something, and a part of the money that comes in goes to the foundation of whomever the artist that you're recreating the work of, Picasso or Van Gogh or Hieronymus Bosch. But like, he just had this skill set. He could literally recreate, you know, like the masters. When you say artistic masters, those are some of the names that show up. But and everything he said, he would always be like, no, this is a direct piece by them. It's not by me. he in no way would ever claim that. But then his personal work is some of the most mind-blowing, super highly detailed, just surreal, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful work. He's the humblest human being. Because if you see it, I tried to give him a show at the gallery that I worked with, and he was just like, nah, I don't really paint to show it. I just kind of do it because I like to do it. And that was one of the most opening, like mind-blowing parts early on in the artistic path as well. Because I saw that and I was like, this dude is incredible. Like one of the greatest artists I've ever met. Not only met, but like have seen the works of. And he has no desire whatsoever to show the work of. None at all.
Why? I don't get that.
It's that part of like creating for you. But that felt very real. Like that felt very much like he studied, he went to school, he can recreate the master's works. But if somebody asks, he'd be like, yeah, I can paint, sure. But he won't be like, hey, let me show you my phone. Here's my Instagram. Follow me. Here's my business card. You want to buy anything? No, he'd be like, yeah, do you really want to see it? You'd be like, all right, I guess so. And then you see it and your goddamn head explodes. I'm like, how long did this, like, he had some piece. I was like, how long did this take you to make? He's like, I don't know, like 6 years. I was like, you 6? And it looks like 6 years worth of oil work. It's gorgeous. And, but yeah, anytime he would recreate a piece, he would literally be like, this is this person's artwork inspired by blah, 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 blah. And that was opening too, because that kind of opened the idea that like, there's so many artists out there you meet that you don't even know are artists, and they make kind of like you don't know who somebody is until you actually talk to them. But if they can make something brilliant like that and have no desire, no like narcissism to be like, hey, look at what I made. Come on, like it. Yeah, double tap. Come on, baby. Just give me 6 more. I need 100. That's draining him. That's draining.
You focus more on the likes than on the artwork.
That leads to the most uninspiring work. Because right now it's like I'll open up Instagram and the first 6 posts will just be people who are working too fast because they want to put that out because they need to be in the social media cycle. You need to see my work every day, and I've banged out a new piece today. I'm doing a new one tomorrow, and the next day, and the next day. But it's so uninspiring. It's just like you're making for somebody else at that point. If you can make and create for yourself, I feel like you'll have a much more fruitful life as opposed to just creating work to be sold. Because money's cool. Don't get me wrong. I love money. Money's fun. I get to be on the 32nd floor penthouse because of money. But at the same time, I'm not going to post about it. Like, hey, fuck it. Vegas, baby. This place is weird. Everybody has a mask on, and I don't want to go out.
Dude, and it's in the desert out there, and people wearing masks. Come on, man. Like, enjoy the weather, dude. Just don't put on the mask and everything. Dude, right now that you mentioned that about the taking the time, when I started my art career, I would try to knock out pieces that were like 4x5s in one day. And I would brag about it. I'm like, oh, I knocked that out in a day. And now it takes me like a month or two to actually make a piece. Homeboy that you were talking about, you said that one of his pieces took 6 years. What's the longest time you've ever spent on one piece?
Not that long. I don't know, a month.
A month?
Yeah. Because like, to prequel back to what I was saying, like some artists can create very, very fast. They just can. They could bang out a new piece every day and you're like, that's amazing, that's dope. But it's never on a large scale for the most part. But like, I can't stay focused on one piece for all that long because my brain has ideas just are influx all the time and I need to act on them, or they get put in this compartment of like, or in the notebook, like this is my good idea book, but there's so many ideas in here. It's now weights. Like last night I was discussing the build on a mobile spa and like saw investors for it and all this within a day. But I was like, man, okay, if I want to act on that, that's going to take 3 months to 4 months, potentially 6 months to a year of my life to put that together. Sure, it can be profitable and all that, but in the long run, is it going to be something that's healthy and makes me happy? Maybe. The idea is fun. If somebody just brought a spa to your house, because now nobody's really going to spas. Somebody just delivers an 18-wheeler spa to your house and you just, whatever, it's got a sauna, it's got everything inside of it. There's a masseuse in there with gloves on and shit. Like The idea is fun.
About
But
it.
it's just one of those random, you're in a bathtub and it's like, oh, here's a great idea. You spew that out. But I like to be able to create something that's on my mind at that point in time, right then and there. So like with the Spray TX show, that was 2 months, like a month and a half working. All the work was made there. I didn't bring anything. I literally nothing except paint. I only brought paint in, no canvases. I didn't buy canvases. Everything was made of wood and scrap material and shit I found. But that was all a month and a half of work, and I made over 100 paintings. I think 138 was the number. But like when I finished, I didn't have a centerpiece. You know what I'm saying? There was some good ones, but there wasn't any like should be the focus. And then like 3 days prior to the show, I literally banged out the if you remember the show, it had like the garage walls and then the main wall, and there was the centerpiece there. That one came out like in less than a day.
Was it the one of the girl that was like a side profile?
Yeah, and she had all her hair, and you could
Dude,
see a little bit of this.
love that piece, dude. That piece was
Thank
the
you, man.
shit, bro. Like
Thank you.
seriously, wow. Like
That's the only one I brought home.
yeah,
I literally
right
put
now
it in the car. I slept underneath it on the drive home because it was so big it wouldn't fit in the back of the car. The only place for it was over top you while I slept. I really love that one, but that was like the centerpiece one. But I feel like if you can create quickly, and if you could project your intentions in that realm of time, then more power to you. Bravo, like excellent. But you shouldn't be projecting works in that amount of time for the sole sake of posting them online, because then you're not actually putting the work into it. Some artists can work fast, some like to work slow, some are whatever. You all over the board. You have every walk of life. But when it comes to time, I can't really focus on a piece for longer than a month, because while I'm doing that, more ideas come. And I feel like that's what led into the direct change from working on an art piece that's either super refined and I spend a lot of time on it, or going out and chiseling hieroglyphs into Thunder Mountain, and that's there forever, like or until those rocks break.
Dude, there's a reason the ancients would do it like that, I love seeing there was this commercial. I forget for what product it was. I think it was for some automobile or something. But they have like the original graffiti artist, which is a caveman, and he's chiseling away onto a wall. And I'm like, dude, like we've been doing this since the dawn of time, dude. Like it's a form of expression. It's that what you can't put into words. You have to just share it with everyone. And to them, maybe cows or bulls or whatever the heck they were painting was important, and they needed to share it to everyone that was around the village or whatever. But what does art mean to you, bro? Like, what is it?
Oh no, you can ask that. That's impossible.
What? Come on,
That's
man. Like
impossible.
you wake up in the morning and say, you know what, today I'm gonna do this. Why do you need to do it, dude? Like, what? It's to me, it's as important as breathing or eating, dude. But I want to hear the Stetz version of why he wakes up in the morning and wants to create art, dude.
Well, if you had asked me that 3 years ago when we first met, or 4 years, it's been 4 years.
It was 2017, dude. I was like going through your Instagram just to check up, dude. And
it's almost 5 years.
Yeah, dude.
Damn.
Time flew by, dude.
Oh man, wow, going quick. But the desire to create, it's kind of like just a desire to. It's like you were saying, it's a desire to breathe. You get up and you have all these ideas in your mind. You got to get them out somehow. You got to write them down, draw them, tell them, talk about them, like just get them out. And if there's an idea for something specific, I like to act on that as soon as I'm up. But most of the work now has been more spontaneous. Like it's the compass, for sake. Like we were just on this trail and we got tired. So we just put our bags down. We decided to take a break. And I just started to mess around with some small rocks. Kind of made a compass, maybe this big at first. But then we looked around, there were more rocks, and it just kind of grew and grew and grew. So now it's this 8 foot, like very prominent. We marked it off. It's like a little garden within the trail now. And it's just more to like, if inspiration hits and you don't act on it, I feel like you're gonna feel lost later on. Whether it's 10 seconds down the line, 10 minutes, 10 hours, 10 days, 10 months, 10 years. There's a part of you that reflect, like, do you have regrets? and you're like, oh shit, this one time I could have done this and this, but I didn't. So if you have inspiration, just act on it. You know, just act on it. If you wake up uninspired, cool, go outside.
Has there
It's
ever
a
been
fun.
an inspirational moment that you didn't act upon that you regret?
Yeah, I feel like that happens all the time. I don't regret anything at this point, but you have those ideas and you're like, well, this is a great idea. And the next thing you know, it's a year down the line and you see somebody develop the same exact app and it's selling for 2 billion. And you're like, damn it. Like I talked to my buddy about that idea, but we were like, this is dumb. And then it progressed. Like before Twitter was a thing, it was literally like 4 big apps that came out after Facebook were just the breakdown of Facebook's like simplifying. You have the what is it? Your what's it called when you make a post? Like your what's it called? Your feeling, whatever. Your post for the day.
Oh,
Hey everybody,
you're
I'm
talking
doing
about
good. Click. Yeah, like your
yeah,
post.
yeah, yeah,
Your status there. And Twitter was just the status, and Instagram was just the photos, and Vine was just the videos. And when Facebook came out, my buddy Shaka and I, we were discussing all this, like, yo, it'd be better if there was apps broken down from all this. And then 2, 3, 4 years down the line, those are all the biggest apps in the world. So there's times when we're like, oh shit, like that idea, like it was there, but you need $250,000 maybe to develop a good app. So we're like, why waste our time seeking investors when it might be a complete bunk? And then later on down the line, you're like, oh shit, that's a multi-billion-dollar corporation. But it's cool because maybe that's for a reason. Like if you don't act on something, it's probably because you weren't supposed to. Some divine intervention, something within destiny told you not to, or just don't, or you're a lazy bitch. And in some way or another, you're gonna seek fortune or be faulted for your actions. So just act with good intent, and I feel like the world will return the good intent. So I can't really say I regret not making anything because I didn't do it. Here now, got carrots and dip, talking to you. I feel like the whole world, our whole lives led to this. So I feel like this is very inspirational, man.
dude. So when did this
Cheers.
start? Wait, salud, señor, salud. When did this start, dude? When did you decide? You know what? Fuck it. Uh, I don't want a 9 to 5 anymore. I'm just gonna jump on this and just do this
Never had one.
completely. Never had that
Never,
moment.
never had a nine.
You just always been
No.
doing it.
But here's the thing, man. I grew up with a speech impediment. So as a kid, I was very quiet. I observed more and I listened a lot. And you hear the main gripes are like, oh, I gotta wake up and work the next day. I gotta work for this guy I don't like. Or like I'm in a marriage, I don't, whatever. There was always like some adult problem I didn't understand as a kid. So it was like you have the power to change that, but you choose not to. But you manifest your own reality. So the more you speak these words, the more power you're giving to those words. So if I hate my shoes, I don't like my shoes, and I tell my friends that day, man, I got fucked up shoes. But I don't go out and get a new pair. Everybody now, I'm the fucked up shoe guy. Like the more power you put towards these words, the more life you give them, the more you use your like verbal sword, the more trees you're going to cut down instead of like letting those trees build up and breathing in all the oxygen that they give. So there's never really been a desire for a 9 to 5.
But did you ever have a 9 to 5 that you were like, fuck
I worked
this,
at
I'm done.
what was
I
it
don't
at
want
the
to do
time?
this anymore.
It was Eckerd. So Eckerd became Rite Aid, I think, and then they're Walgreens now or something. But it's like a pharmacy, It's just a normal. I was 16. You just stock shelves and be the cashier and do all that. That was so boring, so boring. And my bosses were boring. They hated their job. I would answer to 4 people above me, only in that store. Not to mention the chain, whatever, the hierarchy, the 33 tiers that led up from where I was. I was like, this sucks, man. Like this actually sucks. And I've been fortunate to have a brother who's been very entrepreneurial and successful in his own path. And I grew up under parents who were they would never push me in a direction I didn't want to be in. So, moms are always like, oh, you're going to be a doctor, an astronaut, a lawyer, all this. Like, maybe, who knows? We might be. But yeah, I never really went down that road. But they would never be like, you have to get this job, you have to do this, blah blah blah. So I was always very fortunate to have like creative parents who in themselves wanted the best for their kids. And my brother, being a successful human being in his professional career and in life, he that kind of paved the path a lot as well. Because seeing him operate didn't it made the world accessible because he works on a global scale and he's flying all around the world all the time. And I was like, okay, my brother can do it. Like there has to be a way that I could find some avenue in the money stream of life and just take a branch and just hang out in that branch. So I don't need a lot. I'm not somebody who's gonna, try to buy a mansion I don't need with 19 rooms when I only spend time in one of them. That really doesn't make sense. Like right now, I'm comfortable, very comfortable, and still choosing to live technically inside a van, because there's no need for anything else. And like the more objects you have, the more stress it brings upon you. And like the more weight. I don't like weight, man. I like, you have your sketchbook, you got some food, you have a cooler, like you literally move your food every day. Like this is my well-being, and I have to move it to the front seat, to the back seat, out of the car. I have to cook it. And when it's empty, you have to go replenish it. There's no like, oh man, I haven't walked in this closet in 6 years. Like, oh shit, there's useless things I don't actually need. I don't like that.
Dude, does
So,
staying hungry make you want to produce more?
oh,
Because there's points where I feel people get too comfortable and then they just like don't want to make any new art. But I feel like when you're hungry, it's when you get more inspired to like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna make something dope. How do you feel that? Do
yeah,
you use the hunger sometimes as your motivation or?
for sure. There's always if you have bills, if you have a kid, if you have a financially support something, that's great fuel. That's amazing fuel. Especially like if you have a kid, you have to provide for a life. That's tough. And like I always am hungry for everything all the time. Like knowledge, inspiration, creativity. I'm hungry for all that all the time. And like de-burdening myself from having to produce these works to put into a show or to sell, like it took all these hooks out of my brain and just put them on the floor. And like now they're out because there's no need to create this super refined piece once a week, do a print drop every 3 weeks, create 3 sticker designs in 1 month, link to my Patreon, watch me here. I'm going to be posting over here. My whole life is now on a computer because I created one painting that I want the world to see. That sucks. The rectangles, I don't trust these rectangles at all. I like circles. I like, round edges, even triangles. I'm a fan of. But like the more time I spend staring into a blue lit rectangle is like the worst of my life. It's not good for me. Like this is amazing because we're talking, we're communicating.
I
I'm
wish
not
I was
like
there with you,
sitting
man.
here.
Shit.
I'm not like scrolling through like because you don't take any of that in. You don't absorb that unless you're taking like an online class and you can actually take notes. I'm a visual learner. I need to see. I need to speak. You can't just be like, here's a packet. Read it. This will teach you how to stock the shelves. Fuck. This is so boring. This is so boring. Who's my boss? Who signs my checks? Like, who are you people? Like, who am I making money for? I'd rather make it for myself, doing what I love. And I was fortunate enough to have a level of intelligence where I could do that, where I could act on it and have it work. It's an amazing feeling to actually be able to embrace it and not get down on yourself. Because if you post something online and you're like, yo, I just spent a month on this. It's my best piece of artwork yet. And if it only gets 20 likes, now you feel bad about something brilliant that you made. That sucks. That's such a shot in the foot that you brought upon yourself. You put it out there. You wanted the world to accept it. And if they don't, you feel bad. What if you don't put it out there for the world to accept and only you accept it? Then you feel good.
I get you,
And I'm
man.
pro feeling good.
Dude, I don't know if you know this, but dude, not only have you inspired me you be a better artist. Like, yeah, I see you fucking kicking ass every single time, dude. Every time you put a post or a story or anything like that, and I'm like, dude, I want to be
Yeah,
just as
man.
badass as this guy. But you also inspired me to say, you know what, fuck it, let's jump in a car and start driving, because
Yeah,
I had always wanted to do that, but fear. You know, like
fear.
what's gonna happen? What if I can't eat this day? What am I gonna do? And then all of a sudden you show up to the wall. I had that idea in my head, but I see you doing it, and I'm like, dude, he's doing it, and
It's possible.
he just did it. And so I'm like, just do it.
Let's do it.
And some people just fear a lot of the things is people are fearing what people are gonna think. You know, like what are they gonna think
Yeah.
about me if I fail? If I don't make it, what are people gonna do? What drove you to say, you know what, the hell with it? Let me just jump in a car and just start driving and see what happens.
It's both sides, man. It's a huge lack of fear and a huge bag of fear. Because the fear is fun. I love the fear. I love the uncomfortable. Like being uncomfortable within the fear is such an awesome feeling. Um, as a kid with the speech band, I didn't embrace that much. I was just like a behind the scenes. Like I'd always be back. You know, I wouldn't be uh, the shining light. I wouldn't be the beacon of the room, but I'd always be near the light. But then it got to a point where confidence grew within myself. I grew as a human being. You know the old quote, "I've lost touch with the people I used to be," that kind of thing. I'm six new people since 2010, you know, something like that. But like you grow as a human being, and eventually it's just you can manifest your own reality. And if you keep saying what's gonna happen, it could happen. So if I'm like, hey, I want to own, where am I right now? MGM, or I want to be a partner. I keep saying it. I'm gonna literally work towards it, and I could eventually be it if that's what I actually wanted. If that's what I actually really deeply wanted to do. The more you talk about it, the more you say it, and you put power to the positivity of those words, that could manifest in a beautiful life if that's what you really want. But if you're somebody who doesn't want that and you spend more time bitching about what you have, then you're always going to have that. You know, like you're always going to have your world averages out for what you need. So if somebody, you know, thing like when a child is born, it comes with a sandwich on under its arm. It's kind of like that. Like there's a golden spoon. Usually,
Uh-huh.
most artist friends of mine, as soon as they have a kid or something, their career tends to go this way. It just magically, it just happens somehow. And it's because the work amplifies, their energy amplifies, their charisma amplifies, and fear tends to dissolve because now you're not living for yourself. Or if you don't, you know, if you don't have a kid, uh, as long as you have something to live for, you're not really going to fear much. Unless you fear the fear, then you're going to get stuck in this hole and probably just watch the Kardashians for 12 hours a day and kill your brain. Yeah, exactly. And that's not wise, man. Like you have a brain that can manifest its own reality, and it's so advanced we can't understand the full capacity of what our brain can even, what our body can actually do. And if you're going to sit there and marinate in front of a TV and just like refry confusion into yourself, cool. Just don't talk to me.
Dude,
Keep to
okay.
yourself.
So what is the most unique experience, learning experience you had during your travels? Like what is that one thing that you were doing
Oh
during
man,
travels and you're like, holy crap, like this just
there's too
changed
much.
me.
There's
Too
too
many?
much. I mean, every day, you know, you want to like if you're okay, there's the traveling tiers. There's the I'm just going with the wind. I have a plan. I'm doing this for work. You know, you could whichever way that you're going. But like, you know, we were just in Joshua Tree for a week and recently the full moon was on the 27th, and we did a midnight hike out to the spot where the compass that we built, and we found a cave, and we cooked food inside the cave under the moonlight. We had champagne, and a field mouse was hanging out with. I was feeding a field mouse with a spatula, and like that's a beautiful moment that I'm never gonna. I hope I don't ever forget, unless like dementia hits because I used too much spray paint as a kid, you know. But like that was such a beautiful time. So it's like with every trip, like Sedona is such a magical place. And every leg of the trip, you meet somebody that inspires you, or like you do something inspiring. It sounded like somebody just drove a motorcycle on the roof. You know? That's great. I just jumped right there.
You're good,
But
bro.
like every day is inspiring. It's just there's no real day I can, you know, like to you, what's your, it's like saying, what's your favorite day of your life?
Dude, but okay, look. I want to ask you this because you've been traveling for a minute, but I started experiencing this while traveling. Um, I went through this whole atheist trip where I was like, there is no God. We're just here on this planet. And then after that, we're
There
dead and
is no
it's
God.
over. But check this out. Check this out. God is not that white haired, bearded guy that's like absorbing
Water.
down the clouds and
God
everything.
is water.
Dude, God is water. God is air. God is karma. Um, I started feeling when I was driving, uh, first of all, like I felt like a little quick, like, here you go, just so you won't get a ticket. There's a cop coming up next on the next stoplight, so don't run it. Don't run that yellow.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why am I thinking about this? And then I'd slow down, and then pew, the cop would pass by. I'm like, holy crap. I'm like, maybe that was coincidence. And then I'd be like painting in New Orleans, and I'm like, man, I could really use a roller right now. And then bam, magically I would find one. I'm like, how's
What's
this
up?
even happening? Or like, man, I'm not gonna eat today. How am I gonna do this? Bam, someone from nowhere would all of a sudden be like, hey, how much for that print? And I'm like, how is
Yep.
this happening? So I'm like, there is a God, in my opinion, based on damn it. There it is. There's God coming over to you right now.
There's my God. Oh, with light too. Am I good here? Can you see me?
Hey, you're starting to get a little bit darker, but
All right. Well, I think we got one of our gods here. Let's help a little
Goddess.
bit. Oh, now I got the ambiance.
Adios. But yeah, did you experience something like that where it was like, whoa, how is this synchronicity happening?
It's all the time, man. That's divine intervention. That's you manifesting your own reality. That's you put enough time and energy towards something, like you're going to be magnetized, or somebody's going to be magnetized to you in that way. And it's usually a stranger. Like you were saying, you're hungry, like shit, I need $30. And then somebody comes and you just happen to be like sitting down on the sidewalk and your print book is out just randomly. And they're like, hey, I like your artwork. And you meet them and that's a connection. And they buy 2 pieces. Now you got $80 in your pocket. You're good for 3 more days. It's just like, there's just a part of your energy that you can project out and bring that in. But it's a matter of being able to harness it, which is difficult because a lot of people don't believe in themselves. But like everybody should be able to believe in themselves because like we're literally a brain with eyeballs. When we break everything down, the bones don't matter. We're a brain with eyeballs and some veins that hold up this whole skeleton of meat and bones that hold us up. And we can't even manifest why, like, try to make sense. Explain reality. Good luck. Like, you can't. Like, this doesn't matter. I don't get this. Why I can feel. Why is this fire hot? Like, I have no answer. I can tell you why the fire's hot.
Yeah.
The temperature is up. But it's like, where did it come from? Who made it? And if you really dive deep into like those gods, earth, wind, and fire, and also if you listen to earth, wind, and fire more, that's good for your life too. You should listen to more earth, wind, and fire. But like if you dive deep into those elements themselves, there's no explaining it. So if you could wrap your head around that and focus energy and attention on something that you want, there's a good chance it's going to happen. And it especially happens if you're deprived of something. Like you're saying, if I'm hungry, like that's all I could think about. Like I'm hungry, I want to eat. Like this is my way to get money to get food or something. I have these prints. I just wish somebody would come and buy one, and then they do. And that's just because you're focusing all your attention and time on that. And if you could literally focus your energy and attention on time wisely, I feel like good things could follow that. But you could also go the other direction. A lot of people are like, damn, nobody's bought a print from me in 3 days. And then you start feeling shit. You start feeling like shit. And then 4 days goes by and you really feel like shit. And then 5 days and you really feel like shit. And that's hard. It's really easy to get stuck in that rut. But like to be able to get yourself out, that's why it's like, if you want good done to you, do good to others. Because somebody is going to show up at some point. If you keep working, somebody's going to show up. Somebody's going to, whether it's a $10 print or $20 or $10,000 piece, somebody's going to show up. As long as you keep working towards it and you don't get down on yourself. That's a killer, man. A lot of people find it real easy now to get down on themselves, especially because of social media, which is why I'm not posting anything anymore, really. Like an occasional Mantis post for something. But like, it's just such a downer because you have this high level of expectation in your head. Like my shit, there's thousands of followers, but yet I know only 3% actually see what I put out. And that is stupid. That feels very dumb to me. Like that doesn't make sense. Like why have all this, look at my shit, but then nobody could look at my shit unless you actually type it in and look at my shit. It's a strange world, man. And it's just a matter of finding your level of happiness, what makes you happy. And right now, homemade dip, carrots, and talking to you is what makes me happy.
Dude, honored that you're having this conversation with us. Dude, I've been meaning to ask you, what's up with the mantises, dude? Like you actually have one
Yo.
as a pet. Who's taking care of it right now while you're traveling, or is he on the travels with you?
So praying mantises, I wish, man. It's too cold. But they usually only live for about a year. 8 months, 8 months-ish, depending on the species. I only had ghosts. And I don't know, I just wanted to I've always had dogs, cats, turtles, frogs, ferrets, mice, hamsters, all the pets that children have for the most part around, birds, all that shit, fish. But like, I was staying in an apartment for a year and I was like, well, it'd be cool to get a little, I got plants, I got all that, but like, that'd be cool to have a pet. Like, but I don't want a dog. It's too much. I don't want a cat. It's too much. So I'm looking around. I almost got a chameleon. I drove all the way out to a reptile expo in Hamburg, Pennsylvania. And I went in with the intent to get a chameleon because I want to study a chameleon. The fact that the animals, man, if you want inspiration, just research animals and insects. There's all the inspiration you possibly need. Like there's beetles you can't crush. Research the beetle, actually, and just stop there. Like the beetle is the most versatile animal in this world. But I went in there with the intent to get a chameleon. I came out with 2 praying mantis. And they were just cool as hell, man. They're very patient. They're very patient. And it's like seeing something that could live in that style was very interesting to study because it's an apex predator of the insect world. A mantis is built for death. Like it's literally, dude, yeah. It's got swords for hands that outreach 3 times its length. It's got 4 feet. And then when it's an adult, it gets motherfucking wings. Not to mention it has 6 claws that maneuver food into its mouth. And it has 5 fucking eyeballs. And it doesn't need to move because the antennas vibrate and it feels wavelengths. And it's like the ghosts are more ambush. So they just wait for the food to come by them. So like I would get a kick out of like feeding them and, watching them put a moth in there and just watch how it works. Throw a fly, catch a house fly, throw that in there. And I just became infatuated with them. And that was like 2.5, 3 years ago. And then I had these 2, the male of the 2, the first 2 that I had, they didn't. I split them up. Because I didn't want them to fuck because if they have an Utheka, that's like potentially hundreds of babies and she might eat him. Yeah,
oh, yeah.
Exactly. So I split him up, but like I was experimenting a little bit and I was like, yeah, one day I was like, let's see if he'll eat chicken. And he did. And then ever since then, I'd take him out and he would like chew on my hand. Like he got a taste for meat and he got weird. He got real uncomfortable. So then after that, he didn't live his full life. He lived to maybe 6 months. She lived longer. And then I got to see that whole lifespan, like studying something from birth, essentially, to the end of its life. You can learn a lot. There's a lot of inspiration that's very fascinating. And she started to like ooze out the side. I didn't know what was going on. So my buddy that I talked about before, Dak, the one who spent all that time on the pieces, he was an insect, or he was a mantis breeder early on in his life too. So I'm contacting him like, hey, what's up? And he's like, oh, it's just because she didn't mate. That's just the body kind of doing what the body does. So she slowly died out. And then after that, I wanted more of them, but I wanted them in the same container, the same terrarium. So I got 6. I put them in the same one. And that was like, that's nature at its best. So like the ghosts aren't as likely to cannibalize, I guess, as most, but they still did. So there was one female in this batch of 6. She was badass. 2 of them died natural causes. 1, they're insects. They just randomly, whatever. Something might be wrong. They molted and fell or whatever. And then there was 4. The female, when it became time to, do it, that she at nighttime, their mating ritual is crazy.
They
They
dance or
just
something, or
no, they just fucking stare at each other
really?
for days. I put the candle out. They just stare at each other for days, man. They don't move. They just stand there and just look at each other. And I'm like, this is nuts. So one night, my friend Sasha, she's downstairs, and I go upstairs to check on them, and I start like yelling at. I'm like, she's eating one of the males, and I'm like, you fucking Jezebel, you fucking hussy, like you hooker, what are you doing? Don't eat him. Like I just fed you 2 moths today. Like, oh, and then from there on out, I got to see the whole process of like the female reproducing. She ate two. She ate 2 of them, 2 of the remaining 3, and then the third male. I guess she like fucked to death because one day he was just dead.
That's the way I want to go, bro.
he was just dead, right? But then she laid an egg, and I was like, all right, cool. I'll raise some baby mantis. I have the room for him. And then she laid another and another and another and another and another and 18 fucking more eggs. Damn. So I ended up with potentially thousands of praying mantis, and that's when I got a bunch of friends in on it. Like Garrido, I sent some down to him. Louis, he took some, and some friends here. I dispersed, kind of gave them off to friends. Some don't make it because when they're born, they eat each other. Usually their first meal is a brother or a sister.
Oh, wow.
And, they were in a terrarium it was big. It was a big terrarium, but it was unmanageable. So from that point,
wow.
And she kept laying eggs after she already ate the males, like way down the line. And she lived 11 month life. It was kind of nuts. Everybody, I'm in this like praying mantis guild, and everybody in the guild was like, that's unusual, bro. Like, wow. You have like apex master mantis. So before I left on this trip, at my parents' house, I just released some in the house because they don't do anything. All they're gonna do is clean. They eat spiders, they eat flies, they hang out on plants. They don't really move all that much. They just need moisture occasionally. And my mom waters plants and all that. So every now and then I'll get a text and she'll be like, I found another one of your damn mantises. So I left, I know there was 3 downstairs still alive and 2 upstairs by the time I left. So I don't know. We'll see when I get back if some of them are still alive. If they are, they're going to be 4 months, maybe 5 months old. So they'll be adults soon, which will be cool if they're still alive. But yeah, I just became fascinated by them since that. So it's like being able to be with some, when you have a dog, you raise it from a puppy to an old dog, and you're like, I love dogs. Dogs are the best because you see it that whole life. And if you're caring for something, you fall in love with it for that amount of time, if not after. And then you just want, I want another dog, and that's how it was. I was like, I want another mantis, but I did it for probably 3 years. The breeding thing was fun and all, but it was too much. It was unmanageable because I couldn't leave. I had to feed him every day. I had to, do all that. With just one, they could go weeks without food. Weeks. So they could go 2 weeks without food. And then, if you have somebody who could come over, just drop a fly in there. And that's it. As long as you have a humidifier to keep the humidity right, then they'll be good. And I don't know. I just fell in love with the species as a whole. And especially because it's the most versatile species among insects, except beetles. But like, they're just so cool, man. They're just, dude, insects are rad. Insects are so fucking rad.
I used to work at a car dealership, Mitsubishi in Laredo, and my manager actually lived in McAllen, so he had to drive every Monday morning to come from McAllen all the way to Laredo. And the guy's a hunter, dude. Like, he loves going hunting when it's hunting season and everything. So he's got like really good eyesight. And he'd be driving, and all of a sudden he just watched like a little tarantula trying to cross the road. So
yeah, man,
he stopped his truck, get off, and he had like a little Tupperware where he had like his sandwich in it. So he like grabbed the tarantula, put it in there, and just keep on driving towards Laredo. He found 3 tarantulas, dude, on his way to Laredo, and brings them to work. He's like, check it out. I found these 3 tarantulas. And we're like, oh, crap. They were hairy and huge, dude. And there was one that was like the biggest one and everything. But they were all like in a corner of the little Tupperware. We got busy at work, dude, and he forgot about them. We show up the next morning, and we're like, oh, crap, the tarantula.
Oh, where are they?
We open them up, and there's only 2 left and just a whole bunch of little legs on the floor. And we're like, oh, crap. Yep. Then he's like, let's see what happens. Let's see who wins. And we're like trying to make bets on who's going to win. And
that was one of the crazy parts, too. Was like, oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, the next morning we show up, dude, there's just this huge fat tarantula. And one of the dude, one of the coworkers there, since we had like balloons and everything, helium balloons, he decided to fill up a whole bunch of helium balloons and tie the tarantula down to the helium
What?
balloon, and he just let it go, dude.
What the fuck?
This tarantula's
What?
going over this construction site that was like being a building that was being constructed next to us. And you can just hear all the construction workers, "Hey, get out of the way! Here comes a tarantula!"
Here comes a mantis.
Heck yeah!
Thank you, mantis.
Just don't bite your head off, shit.
I know. Hopefully, I got my head by the end of the night. Hey, any fuego? Mantis, do you have fuego? She's got fuego. Mantis has fuego. It's a female too, man. I gotta watch my neck.
Yeah.
So wait, he tied a living tarantula and just let it.
Just let it go, dude. Just let it go. We don't know what happened to that tarantula, dude. Crazy, man. Crazy. So, dude, what inspired this new trip? Well, what's going on with this new trip? Did you just say let's go for it, or did you actually have like some commissions or murals that were like coming, or you're just winging this?
Speaking of praying mantises, so I embarked on a project to paint 108 praying mantis around the world right before COVID. So it's like I had a bunch of gigs lined up worldwide where I was literally going to paint a praying mantis, do classes, give lectures, go to bug museums, and, just go for that ride. Because in the amount of time that I had them, I learned enough to be somebody who could be consulted on mantis breeding and hosting and mantis as a whole, and which was cool because the guild that I was in, it's deep, it's worldwide. There's like 9,000 of us within that, and everybody really liked the mantises painted, on a large scale.
Yeah, dope.
To be able to stand next to something and be like, and I made them anatomically correct, and I didn't really take too many surrealistic aspects except like the markings, and they really liked that for that sense, because most of the time you see a mantis, it's very like abnormal. It's like the head will be too big, or whatever. There'll be something that's wrong, and that was cool. That worked out, and I had this whole thing planned, and then COVID happened, and it was like shit. Everything went boom down the hill, and so I took some time off from there. That's when I started to burn all my artwork and try to everybody had, everybody's mind went to a new place when that happened, because it's kind of like you saw how the world works now. Things started to make a little more sense, what you can do, what you can't do. And I really didn't like the idea of having this job line where I was producing and curating and making events and shows, and somebody could just pull the plug on us. I don't even know who they are, but the powers that be just could pull the plug on them instantly. Because we did this setup for Heartbreak Hotel, the show that I did. We brought in 50 artists. First night, the opening night, 4-room installation piece. Such a great show, man. Sold out. Then the gallery took my proposal for the next month, and it was a comedy show within that show itself. Sold that out. So then they took my proposal for the third month, and then COVID happened, and it got pushed back and pushed back and pushed back and canceled. And I was like, dude, I just did all this work for this third show. Like, I put all the money from the sold out shows to this third show. We're bringing in singers from London, from Australia. Like, we had people coming from everywhere. Like, we put a lot into this, and then it got canceled. And I was like, fuck. But a big part of that was like, okay though, that's clean slate. We literally cleared the gallery out, repainted the walls, clean slate, everything. And then from there, that was March last year. So that was pretty much a year ago. And from there, the Mantis and she had something lined up in Seattle for a 3-month residency in the forest to be an adventure instructor and travel guide and wilderness instructor and all that. And that got canceled because of COVID. So it's like COVID kind of did this whole reshaping of our reality for the most part. And we waited and waited and waited, and eventually just got to the point where we both figured out how to make money doing our job online effectively and comfortably. So we just, all right, now would be the time. I mean, there's barely any traffic. The world is opening up a little bit for the most part. And then we didn't really cut a path or anything, but I lined up a few gigs along the way. So there's the Harrell House in Santa Fe, which is an insect museum, and I was doing a Mantis mural for them, but then COVID kind of like kicked that backwards, and the landlord wanted more money for rent and blah 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 and all this shit. But like everything got shape shifted, everything got molded and recreated and moved. So we just kind of just decided just to go, just go. Why wait? There's nothing to wait for. Like I can't plan a new event. I can't produce anything because I can't like throw an event and be like, okay, cool, at the door, I gotta take everybody's temperature. I can only let 10 of you in at a time. Like I'm an event producer. My brother's an event producer. Like we love crowds. I want to bring people in together, not be like, oh, you can't stand there, stand 8 feet over there. Like it wouldn't be right. It wouldn't feel right. So we decided just instead, let's just go on a trip, see what happens. And I've been carving hieroglyphs in every mountain that I find.
That's so freaking dope, dude. Where is the trip gonna take you to? You're in Nevada right now. Is there like
Yeah.
a final destination in mind, or are you just going for it, bro?
No, we just kind of went. We started in New York. We jumped to Denver as fast as we could, and then straight down through New Mexico. We went as far south as Big Bend in Texas, and then as far west as San Diego. Like touched the ocean, like did that just for the sake of coast to coast. So did that whole thing, and now I guess we're kind of progressively working our way back, but we're in no rush to get all the way back.
Oh, so you're not gonna go up to Oregon or anything like that?
No, we're saving that one.
I got
Saving
some
that
peeps
till
up there, bro. If you
it's
need, dude,
warm.
like
No, dude.
growers up there who you can
Yeah,
go and maybe do
I
some artwork and chill out there, stay a
I really
while.
want to. I really want to. But we
Cause,
want to
dude,
do it when it's a little bit warmer. Like I've seen every state. I've been in every state. I've explored it. Mostly the Northwest though. As a child, I don't remember much of it. But now it's like as an adult, I want to go, but I want to have the right time frame. I don't want to just go and be like, hey, Eugene, Oregon, cool, it's my name. Like that's my final destination point, though, is to get to there. Be like, cool. That means in the past 5 years, I've done almost every state except Hawaii and Alaska. So hopefully either later this year or early next year, that whole leg will come. And Chicago is definitely going to be in there somewhere.
dude,
Like
mi casa,
from New
su
York, I
casa.
think Chicago's only, what was it, 8 hours, 10 hours? Cleveland's 8 hours. So Chicago must be like 10. That's not bad. That's just a day drive.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah,
I
so
really
that's
want to
definitely on
plan
the list.
something where you come over here, dude. Seriously,
I would love that. Yeah.
I gotta
Once
walk.
it gets warm, yeah.
Yeah, for sure, dude. It's starting to get a little bit warmer, but my apartment is literally 2 blocks away from where the wall's at. It's a dope
Oh
ass
shit.
alley, dude. Mi casa su casa. You can stay as long as you want, dude. Knock it out, dude. I will definitely
Thank you.
find a way to like get you everything you need, dude, to do that. I think
Yeah,
a
amazing.
good time lapse of that would be dope, and having you actually here in person also to interview
Yeah,
you
yeah, yeah.
would be even
That would be
doper.
dope. That'd be
Dude.
fun.
Okay. Question, because I know music to me is a very important part in the creation process. Sometimes I can even turn off my mind and just let the music guide me, and I'm like on autopilot.
No,
Is
I've
there,
seen you. I've seen that. I've seen you do that.
dude? But is does I feel like I can't be the only one that music moves me. Do you find music to help you get inspired when you're
Oh
painting?
yeah, yeah, dude. Of course, of
And
course.
what music
Music
is
can
that?
music
What
can sometimes like send the direction of the artwork itself. Like it's really cool to look at a piece that somebody made and try to like, especially if they're there to ask, be like, all right, you were listening to like death metal when you made this, right? And they're like, oh yeah, or no. Sometimes it's the complete opposite. Like you look at this very like visionary artwork and you're like, oh, they must have been listening to something very ethereal and but then they're like, no, I was listening to like K-pop. And you're like, what the fuck? What the fuck? It's just all like whatever gets the music, whatever gets your mind activated. I'm all over the board, man. I love bluegrass. I love swing. I love jazz. I love funk, folk, anything. Pretty much anything. It's just whatever the mood is at that moment in time.
But is there
Like
something that you don't want to paint to? Like if it's too intense or something, or
yeah, my own singing. It depends. It depends on the situation. If you're painting a nice piece, if you're painting's kind of a slow process. You could develop a style where you're quick and it's like pointillism type shit. But like, fast pace doesn't really do it unless it's live. Painting live to fast pace, dude, that's like painting live at a festival or like in a club or at a concert. That's when you start moving and like the arms just feeling the bass and everything feels like it's flowing. But like just personal, I probably throw on like some I don't know, BB King or James Brown and just vibe out to it. If you have headphones on.
For sure.
Again, painting live is the most fun. The most fun. The most fun. Like Cherry Cola Dog, that shit was fun, man. Especially with 12 more of us there. Everybody's working on a 4x6. It's just yeah.
Dude,
Anyways, right?
cherry cola, dude. I didn't even know how to spray paint. I was trying to learn how to spray paint, and I talked to Mike, and I'm like, "Yo, everyone was painting and everything." I'm like, "Whenever you can, give me a wall or something." He's like, "You can have that door," and I'm like,
Yeah.
"Just the door?" He's like, "Yeah, just the door." I ended up painting the entire roof, everything, dude. Brian and I through a collaboration, we did a huge tribute to Jim Morrison from the Doors because he told me
Yeah.
you can have the
The
door.
door.
So I was just thinking the doors, and then bam, all of a sudden I had this huge um, mural of Jim Morrison. But do you
That's my
also find inspiration on things like that, where it's just a word or a feeling or something like that, where you just get the inspiration just with one little thing, dude?
Oh yeah. You know what's amazing? Do you remember Gage Kelsey
Maybe if I
from Austin? He had long hair, very bright
sounds
eyes, great
super
smile.
familiar, dude. Super familiar,
He
but
uh he had this way of before he would start on a piece. I have a picture of this too. He would go up to it and can't really see shit. It's way too dark. But he would stand next to it, close it in front of it, close his eyes, and put his hands up and just like meditate and try to absorb what the canvas wants. You know what it
damn.
wants to be, and then he would do his thing and make something amazing. And I always thought that was a very unique perspective and unique approach. I've never seen that before. He literally would just go up to it and meditate with it, opening his hands up and putting his palms towards it in hopes that something will extract out of it or he could project onto it. I always thought that was rad. Um, what was the question again?
Like if
I
you
got
ever
thinking
had
about Gage.
like a word or a thing
Oh,
that you would see, because
it's
like look,
my
Bill Tavis, dude. I know, I think you know Bill Tavis, dude. The guy's
Davis is amazing. Yeah,
one of the
yeah.
most talented artists
He's a warlock.
for sure, dude. He painted live with me at a show, and I was loving the colors he was using, and I'm like, dude, where'd you get the idea for those colors? And I'm like, and he was like, well, I'm seeing the sunset, so I'm trying to get some colors from like the colors that I'm seeing during the sunset. And I'm like, dude, that
Yeah, man.
is dope. Like that is literally getting
From nature.
inspiration from the moment, dude. The question was, do you ever get inspiration from little things like a word or just the moment or colors or you're seeing like in the sky or
Like,
something?
there's no greater artist than Mother Earth. It's like if you need anything, just look around. Unless you're surrounded by a city metropolis of lights and gluttony, which I am right now, which is why I'm not making anything except food and drinks and conversation. But there's always that, anything that sparks the mind, please embrace, jump on it. If somebody's like public theater is the best inspiration. If you could just hang out outside, like I have binoculars here because I love standing up here and just watching shit happen. Because I'm like downtown almost, so there's always something happening. Dude, the other day, we're in Phoenix, and my mantis friend, she gets out to go in the store to get some milk. So that's all we just need is a little bit of milk to cook with. And I'm like, yo, this is a hood mart. Just run in and out. Like, don't, just in and out quick. And she's like, no, it's not bad here. It's fine. She goes in, and as soon as she comes out, right prior to her on her way out, there's two dudes fighting over a corn dog. Like legit throwing down over a corn dog in Phoenix.
Wow.
And I'm laughing my ass off recording this. And she comes in and I was like, see what I mean? And she's like, shit, let's go, let's go. But like, I think about that. I've thought about that every day since. Like, I wish I knew the conversation. I've wrote about it. I've drawn the fight out. Like, inspiration comes from the most absurd areas
Corn
and you
dog.
just don't expect it. So like the theater, like public, the earth, like there's nothing more inspiring than the earth itself and just what it created. It's so fascinating. Cause like, why are you punching somebody in the face over a corn dog? I wish I knew. I never punch anybody over a corn dog.
Dude, right now I think you mentioned Sedona, right? You mentioned
Yeah.
Sedona. A
Yeah.
homeboy from Laredo, one of my lifelong friends, Dole. Shout out to my homeboy Dole. Went to Sedona last year, and he was telling me there's something in that the like the
Yeah.
area, like you can feel these energies. He was like, dude, I could
Mhm.
feel like literally like Native American energies, like from past spirits that have been there. Did you ever experience anything like that while in that?
Sedona had the energy was amazing. It's from what I've read and what I heard, it's a magnetic vortex of the Southwest. So there's some energy paradox that's just forming into there. So one night, Manta's friend and I were out on a walk, and we went out to cook. As the sun goes down, and we're looking at Cathedral Rock from Slick Rock, which is where we usually we camped out for most of the nights. And we come back, and this woman is giving an alien a UFO sightings tour for the most part. So there's like a parking lot there, and then there's this little like yard, and there's these big rocks in back of it, so nobody could like go in there and park. So we hear him. We're on our way back. We're being loud. Whatever happened, we have pots and pans in our bags, all shit. And then we get back to the car, slamming doors. We get everything in, and I'm like, "There's a class going on." It's like, "Oh shit!" Like, "Oh man, we're those assholes." Oh no. I was like, "Yo, let's just listen to this for a second." And then she was infinitely eccentric, but she had like eight people there. They all had military grade night vision goggles on, and they're all laying down on the ground, and they had military lasers. So they're literally pointing out everything that they saw and pointing at it. So like the movement was crazy. There was satellite every next second shooting stars, and she's going on, and she's like, the vortexes. There's two above us, and like from an outside perspective, if you don't have an open mind, this sounds crazy. You're like, what? There's cosmic weaponry in the air. Shut up. But she's going on, and she's getting lost in her own thoughts because she's so excited about all that. So we just stood against the van and just watched. We couldn't see what they were saying, but we could still see. It's a clear sky, a lot of sky, a lot of stars. We saw satellites and shooting stars. And she's going on and on about how they've seen alien, spaceships and spacecrafts, and like how this is the magnetic vortex, and how like the extraterrestrials have to pass through a vortex in the sky to come to the Earth's atmosphere through here, and then they ship out to the ocean, and then from there they go to wherever, and blah blah blah. She's going on, and just extremely sad. This was a cool thing just to walk in on randomly and just be like, oh, we could just sit back and observe. And she was going on about it. So there's definitely something unique about Sedona, so much so that it's the only place we've ever mutually agreed upon spending a winter. Like we would move there for 6 months. Like it was that beautiful place.
Wow.
First of all, the scenery, it's gorgeous, man. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Red rocks, these amazing hikes, like beautiful views. People are all very nice. But it's a little high scale. I'm assuming it costs a lot to live there. Because it's all they also have this law within the town where all the colors have to be coordinated. So like
Really?
a McDonald's doesn't have this 80-foot giant M in the sky. It's not even yellow, like it's a teal. And they only have it on the building itself, and no building can be over 3 floors. So you could see
Everything.
So nothing obstructs views. I like that a lot. I really like it. There weren't too many murals. It's not a good place for mural arts, but it's a great place for the arts. There was maybe 2 murals in town, but they were both knockouts, like unbelievable works. And we just fell in love with the place, man. It was gorgeous. People were nice. It was one of those spots where like we are thinking about going back on the way back.
Dude, right now that you just mentioned that, remember we were talking about Hilitla, the place that Dali.
Yeah.
Dude.
Oh yeah.
I would love for us to actually plan something to go to
You do,
Hilitla,
man.
but dude, there's this other place that I found out about. I don't know if we had talked about it when you were in Austin. El Cielo translates to heaven.
No.
El Cielo is in Tamaulipas. That's the state that borders Texas, but it's this little town that's by the Gulf, and no one can explain what the heck's going on there because you have the 4 seasons of the year happen. You have these crazy animals that are supposed to live in different parts of the planet, but they're all coexisting in this one unique spot, dude. There's these weird monkeys, dude, that look like they're like a violet maroonish kind of color. You're like, what the hell are these
Got
things?
maroon monkeys.
DuPont actually has a plant there, and they're studying what the heck's going on there because no one can describe why this is happening there.
Is it on the coast?
It's on the coast, but
So they have a
uh,
cross breeds. They have some kind of unique cross breeds that like.
they don't know how to explain it, dude. You can't show up in a car. Like you have to park a certain amount of a distance away from it, and
That's
then you can either
interesting.
go bicycling, walking, or on horseback.
Yeah.
And there's actually this crazy part where you go into the ocean, where the locals describe it as like a UFO landing there back in the days, and it left its imprint. It looks like a crescent moon, or kind of like a Batman
Yeah. Yeah.
batarang or whatever.
Boomerang. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, like a Batman boomerang because it has kind of like that crescent moon shape with like a little tail in the middle. And right in the middle
Oh
of that
wow.
crescent moon shape imprint, dude, this is in the ocean, dude. There's a palm tree that keeps on growing. And
What?
everyone's thinking, dude, that thing should have already drowned because it's been underwater this long. The thing's still growing, dude. No one can explain what the heck is going on. El
It's a
cielo, dude.
palm tree growing underwater.
Underwater, right in the middle of the crescent moon shape that's
What the
in the
fuck?
sand engraved, dude. El cielo, dude.
I'm in.
Heaven.
I'm in.
That's
I'm in.
dude. I'm really
Can
waiting for the moment where Mexico's a little bit more chill, and we can go,
that's what I was just gonna ask. Can we get to Mexico?
dude.
I think we can go to Cancun. I know that much.
Oh, dude, Playa del Carmen, dude. Cancun is next
Yeah.
to Playa del Carmen.
Yeah.
Everyone tells me that it's an artist paradise, dude. If you're planning on going somewhere, dude,
Yo,
go to Playa del Carmen, dude.
man, I have a mural there. I've done it.
Dude,
Done it. Done. There's a mural festival called Akumal Arts Fest, and Akumal's right outside of there, and it's a gorgeous little, like you were saying, man. Everybody wants their house painted. Everybody just like is very accepting of it. And this festival was probably one of the coolest fucking arts fest I've ever been. I've ever been. Like the hospitality, the like setup, everything. They brought in like 100 artists. It was when I got there, they were just like, "Oh, we have a wall for you, but if you could find more, feel free." Like just go around
damn.
town and ask. But that's a cool thing. Like in America, there's so much regulation behind a mural, which is also very off-putting because if you wanna, there was one mural I painted and it had to go through like 7 tiers of people who had to pre-approve it and change it and alter it and switch it and rearrange it and just put their uncreative touch on it. And by the end, it was like I've already been in this for 5 months. Like I'm kind of burnt out. Now I have to actually do it. It's like damn, like I already put so much effort and time. It's like not. It's barely monetarily worth it. But it seems in especially Mexico, it's just kind of like certain places. It's free. Just whatever. Go ahead. Paint what you want. Cool. Like you want to paint a giant praying mantis on my house? Feel free. Please.
Dude,
It's a,
Mexico's a beautiful country, dude. Like I feel so bad for the situation it's in right now, but I would love to take you to Monterrey, Mexico, dude. I would love to
oh
take you to
yeah.
Mexico City, dude. You would
I was
love the things that I used to live in Mexico City, dude, and
planning this out. I'm
this is
down.
before everything went bad in Mexico. But Mexico City's always been known as being a dangerous city.
Yeah.
And when I was living there, I was just afraid, fear, like something's gonna
Yeah. Yeah.
happen to me. But then you're just locked up in the apartment all day long, even though it's a badass apartment. You gotta go see one of the most beautiful cities in the planet, dude. And I never regretted one moment of just saying, you know what, fuck this. I'm going out there and just exploring by myself, dude. Made awesome friends, lifelong friends, dude. Got to see
Yeah.
the city, dude. I'm so pissed off at myself that I didn't go to the pyramids, dude. Because you can just jump on the subway and they'll drop you off right in front of the pyramids, dude. I never did that, dude. But
That's mind blowing.
dude, we should go. We should totally
I'm
plan
in.
something.
Like the Zalita. How do you say it again? Zalita?
Uh,
Hilita?
Hilitla.
Hilila.
Hilitla, but
Hilila?
it's spelled with an X. It's spelled with an
Yeah.
X. Hilitla.
Xilia or something like that.
Dude, and
That like
oh
ever
my
since we talked about that, I've been wanting to do. I research it like once a month. I'll jump into a rabbit hole of it and just dive in. So I'm totally down. As soon as we can get in, count me in.
dude, and there's another town too, Real de Catorce. It used to be a mining town that you have to go in through a mountain, and there's only one way in, one way out. You have to go through this mountain hole, and
That's cool.
the city, everyone that's told me there tells me time goes by slower, and they have peyote there
Okay.
too. Um,
I want to
but
try that as well.
dude, they say that there's tours inside the mines and you can see ghosts and stuff or feel their presence and stuff.
What?
So yeah, I would, and Gilila's not that far from Real de Catorce, dude. So we can totally plan El Cielo, Real de Catorce, Gilitla, Mexico City, Monterrey, dude. Playa del
We could do
Carmen.
we could do like a whole reach. I'd be down. I'd be very down. I am. Like, we're aching to get into Mexico. It sucks. We're this close and we can't go to that lawn over there. Like, it's,
Dude,
uh,
when the shit had just been hit the fan and I was still living in Laredo, my friends and I would get drunk, partying our asses off, and then all of a sudden we're like, I want a hot dog from Mexico. So
yeah,
we'd
you
be
just
like, you
jump.
know what? Let's just run across the border, get the
Yep.
hot dogs, and then run right back. Dude, it was crazy. We would be right in the first plaza that you cross and literally just hearing the bullets and shit, and we're just eating the hot dogs. They were that good, dude.
Um,
Those hot dogs were that good,
hot
dude.
dogs worth bullets. That's crazy. You're nuts. You're out of your mind.
Dude, so what's up with the trip? You're not gonna go up to Oregon then? You're gonna
Now
are you going to
we
Cali at least, or you're gonna hit
we
back
were
Oregon?
we dipped into San Diego for literally a day and a half. We went from Joshua Tree to San Diego, spent the night in Gaslamp, and then came back to Joshua Tree for the full moon. That was kind of, we didn't have any plan to go there. That was just kind of like, well, we're this close. Let's just go coast to coast and let's just touch the ocean and hang out there for the day. So literally went from desert to beach, like back and forth within a day, which is cool. But that's as far west. Now we're just slowly working our way back. See what comes along the lines. Like, there was some, like, have you ever been to White Sands
No.
National Park? It's a desert it's all bleached. Not bleached, but it's all white. It's completely pure. Like, it's one of the most mind-bending, just like mind-cleansing places. We really want to go back to that. We were in Carlsbad Caverns for a while too. And that's a wild place, man. 750 feet underground. Like, I spent 2 days inside those caves. We want to hit that again, and then just, we got a Missouri stop at some point. So there's a few more things tucked in. But for the most part, like, we did the bulk. We've done the bulk. We've had our fun, and now we're just slowly kind of making our way back.
No, no Salt Lake. Salt Lake's not that far, dude.
Salt Lake's not that far. We're gonna go to Zion next. Zion in Utah, and then the Grand Canyon again, and then Flagstaff, and then maybe to Santa Fe, and maybe shoot down New Mexico. I don't know. It's all up in the air. We kind of have an itinerary, but we're not following it all that much.
Dude, I drove from Salt Lake to Vegas, and I wasn't expecting that ride. I was in Salt Lake for work, and they kept on telling me Vegas is right around the corner, and I had never been to Vegas, so I'm like, all right, fuck it, let's go check it out. It was like a
Yeah.
6 hour drive, and there's a time change too. There's
Yep.
no gas stations along
No.
the way.
And
I didn't know that.
and if there is, the gas is like $5 a gallon.
Sorry,
I
hold on,
paid
hold on.
$4.78 at the
I'm
last
sorry.
gas pump.
The what?
We paid $4.78 at the last pump
Oh my
for
God.
I know, we're like, yo, that's crazy. Because in New York it was still 2 something. We came out here in California, it was up even more. But yeah, that's it. It's just desert. That's it. The
Dude, but
Mojave.
that drive from Salt Lake to Vegas, dude, it's like the Road Runner and the Coyote. You know, where you have like these huge rocks with like a humongous red rock on top of
Tumbleweeds.
it, and you're coming down. Yeah, the tumbleweeds and everything. It's a view, dude. It's awesome to see all of that, dude.
It's fun, man. The desert's another slice of life. That's very fun to experience. Like, I'm a child of the forest, and then like coming into the desert, it's a silence. Like, I like seeking silences. That's like a big part of the trip. Is like seeking a proper silence, which in Vegas you can't get. Dude. Helicopters, you got motorbikes. I got a golf course right across. I hear cling, cling, cling all hours of the night, and but like the desert silence. There's no trees that interrupt the wind. It's very surreal. It's very surreal.
Dude, so is
Especially,
upstate New York more foresty then, or I've never been to
oh,
upstate?
yeah. So you got New York City. I'm like an hour and a half north. That's home-ish base. And yeah, it's quiet, man. You got the Catskill Mountains. You got rivers. You got everything. Forests. It's very nice. There's certain places you can go and not hear a car, and that's like a big part of most of these trips. Is trying to seek a beautiful silence where you can't hear civilization. So it's like the Joshua Tree trip. We hiked. We were on this dirt road called Desert Queen Mine, and that's like a half a mile in dirt road, maybe 3/4 of a mile, and then we hiked a mile and a half in from there, and that's where we posted up for the night, and that's great. You can't hear cars. Like, there's an occasional person who you get to mess with because there's this group that we went by, and this one dude tripping out. Like, he must have been on something, but he was like, "Yo, I'm geeking out. Like, nobody's around here." So me and Mantis were like, "Woo!" and like making crazy noises. He's like, what the fuck is that? So we're just messing with people all night, but it's fun, man. It's at the end, once they leave, it's just that silence. Very beautiful silence.
Do
I
you
love it.
prefer that over than the chaotic sounds of like a New York City?
If you want to work and you want to get, there's the energies behind the both are very different, but very similar. Like a city life is amazing if you're like, I'm waking up, I'm going outside, I'm contacting galleries, I'm hustling, like I'm doing this and this and this. But if you want to like, meditate, a silence, but like a no white noise silence, like you can't beat that. Like talk about time going slow. That's when time goes really slow. Like we thought we were out there for, it felt like a week, but we're out there for a night. By the time we hiked back in the day, it was 11 o'clock, maybe midnight. By the time we hiked back, and we were exhausted. Like that felt like an expedition. All this, we had the big bags on, we had the pots and the pans and the gallons of water and the food and all that champagne and like the glass, you have all that weight. And then on the way back, you drank, you ate, you feel lighter. The walk goes quick. By the time you get back, like shit, you want to go back? Hell yeah.
Is there a preference, dude? Is there a preference for the city life or the more natural life to get more inspiration, or do both serve
Oh,
their
they
own
both,
purposes?
they both got a balance. You can find inspiration all over the place. But when we were in the desert, I was cataloging most of the time. So I would go out and catalog whatever flora and fauna I could find, draw it, different angles, and
Yeah, because
sorry, I'm tech
I
there and all this.
I
But
saw some of your leaf work. You were actually drawing on leaves, right?
oh yeah, I got a whole bunch of them here, a whole pack of them. But yeah, those are fun too because it's just like the earth drops canvases all over the place. Then after a while, they deteriorate. There's a bunch of leaves. It's dark, you can't really see them, but they deteriorate over time. They crumble, fall apart, and into they go off into the world, back into the world. And it's just nice. It's like a meditative form of art. You just kind of grab whatever you find, or like there's this artist Andy Goldsworthy, and he does a lot of nature-based work. So he'll just go out into the forest or wherever, onto a beach, wherever, go on a walk, and just bend and manipulate sticks and leaves and stones and water in certain ways, with the intent that it's either for the photograph right then and there, or he just leaves it for somebody to find, and you find that on a walk, and you're like, this is wild. Who made this? There's no name. It's just something amazing to see. Or he'll do like a stone arch or something in a very specific spot. So then over the months, the winter will hit it, and then the ice will hit it, and it'll become this bridge for animals. And like, it's working with natural elements to create something beautiful that benefits the earth as a whole. And I find a lot of magic in that, as opposed to, I'd made this acrylic painting on a canvas, and here's all the garbage that I had to conjure to even make this. Like this tube of paint, these two paint brushes, the plastic that the canvas was wrapped in, the tree that got cut down, the people who had to weave the fibers, the staples that went into it. And just like, there's a lot of garbage that goes in like one canvas. So I'm trying my best to eliminate all that and either work with just found material or just nature, just work with nature, just with whatever, sticks, stones, trees, sand. And if it falls, if it dissipates, cool, peace, bye. I had fun, but now I'm going that way. The artwork stays here.
Dude, I feel you. If it makes a mark, why not use it? Like the world is your canvas,
Yeah.
dude. You just gotta see. You gotta see it. Like I walk around. That's why I like photography too, because
Yeah, man.
I feel like I see things that most people just ignore, or they're too busy on this thing. They're on their phone and they
The
just don't see it.
details.
So I feel like the
Details.
photographers, not the main purpose, but it should reflect what you see that other people don't see. You got to show them. And it's funny,
Yeah.
I'll take a picture and I'll be like, oh, look at this. And it's right in front of them, but they'll still stare at my phone. I'm like, it's right there. Like you can just see it. It's right there. But this thing has us trapped, man. Like this thing, we're slaves to it, dude.
Sucks you in. It's the rectangle, man. You don't trust rectangles.
The Black
If
Mirror,
anybody
dude.
could take anything from this, don't trust it. Don't trust the rectangle. But it's like the details in art is the cool spot. Like when you're walking down the street and you find like a little teeny tiny tag or something in this crazy ass spot. And you're like, how did they even, you can't see it, but like walking through the desert in Joshua Tree, I found a knife stuck in a Joshua tree, just in like way off trail in the middle of literally nowhere. And all I could think is like, what is this knife's backstory? You know, how did this knife get here? And with every little random detailed artwork that you see, like even smiley faces, the oldest form of graffiti, smiley faces and dicks.
Yeah.
But like, if you see like somebody, there's two electrical outlets and somebody just put a little, a little mouth under, you're like, that's awesome and cute. Like, that makes me feel good. That's just a little, all it took was one line, and then people see it and they smile. And there's more power behind that than a Mickey Mouse with a gas mask on, something dumb.
For sure, bro. I
Yeah.
get you, man. Dude, we've been talking for a minute, bro. I know it's getting cold out there. It's getting kind of dark out there, and we're barely able to see us. But dude, seriously, this conversation was the shit, bro.
Hey, cheers, brother.
I'm
It's been long. We haven't talked in a long time. It's been a
Yeah, for
while.
sure, dude, for
Been years.
sure. Um, Definitely. Let's work. We got some plans to do, dude. You need to come
Yes.
to Chicago. We need to do a
We
mural
do.
here.
We do.
We're gonna do something dope here, dude. But we should also plan that Mexico trip, dude. We should actually be thinking about how to do that,
Yes.
make that
Yes.
happen, dude.
Yes.
But dude, any words of advice that you can give to the wishful traveling artists, dude, that they might find inspirational?
Yes. And listen very carefully. It's it's short and sweet. Do it.
Do it.
Do it.
Damn.
Just do it. Find a way to do it. Because I'm sure you can. And I'm sure something magical will happen along the way. And if it doesn't, at least you tried. At least you tried. And yeah, if that's something you really want to do it. Because then you're only gonna get older. Like if you turn an hourglass upside down, you are the sand. You can't focus on the sand that's already passed through the hourglass. Stay focused on the sand falling down, not the sand that already fell.
Dude,
Just do it.
awesome. Awesome
Just do
words of advice, bro.
it.
Such an honor, bro. Like seriously, you don't know how much I
Rod,
appreciate
man.
this, dude. Seriously,
Appreciate you too.
for sure, dude. Let's keep in touch, dude. Safe travels, bro. Hope to see you soon, man.
Brother, cheers. Thank you for this.
Salud, señor.
Man,
Nos
salute.
vemos, amigo.
Ah, cheers, man.
Bye.